Hello and welcome to a fresh episode of Sport Vibes on DNTWOK. The past week in the world of sports was one filled with excitement, drama, and controversy. I, Bolaji Alimi, the sport pilot, will have the privilege of flying you across the world of sports to take you to some of these areas so you could catch a glimpse of what has happened in the past week in the world of sports. So fasten your seatbelt and get set for this trip. Let's start with the world of tennis, where the first Grand Slam event of the year has already kick-started. And as much as you would like to talk about the actions already seen, you can't take your eyes away from the fact that the most successful men's player is absent. And this was a saga that dragged on for about 10 days, talking about Novak Djokovic being dragged to courts, appealing, and all these things surrounding the Australian Open off-field. So quite a number of opinions have been expressed because eventually Novak Djokovic was deported and will not have the chance to compete for his the record-breaking 21st Grand Slam title. And of course, he would have also had a chance to extend his record at the Australian Open. So for this, there's quite a number of opinions people have given. Djokovic himself, his father, his fans expressing their disappointment, and of course Australia, the nation of Australia, standing their ground. And when you look at this, it's more like a no one is above the law kind of scenario. And we choose not to say so much about that, but obviously as sport lovers, we wish the sports star Novak Djokovic the very best for the rest of his career. It's still tell there's still a lot of chances, more Grand Slams to be competed for. So we just keep our fingers crossed and expect the very best for our sports. And now let's talk about football. And is there a better place to start than AFCON 2021? The tournament is underway. We told you about some of the favorites you should look out for last time out. And as it is with football is no respecter of pedigree, of name, or defending champion. So we'd like to talk about some of the major things we have noticed so far in the tournament, and where better to start than Algeria, because the defending champions are on the verge of exiting at the group stage. This is because Esteban Obiang of Equatorial Guinea's goal was enough to see them lose 1-0 against Equatorial Guinea in their second group game. Of course, Algeria drew their first game against Sierra Leone 0-0, and quite a number of fans felt maybe that was just a blip. Maybe, even big teams, sometimes when you come into a tournament, the first game may not be the best for you, but you're expected to improve as the tournament goes on, and that was what many people thought. And of course, we also had several of their players talking about the fact that the climatic conditions in sub-Saharan Africa, where Cameroon is, does not favor them, especially those of them playing in Europe. But nonetheless, we are not taking excuses, but let's take a look at some of the talking points from that, because you look at the fact that Algeria have just had 1 point from their 2 opening games, and that makes for a nice finish, a fascinating one to Group E. So the last time they had lost was in October 2018 to the Republic of Benin. That was a qualifier for Egypt 2019, which Algeria eventually won and became champions. But this time around, that defeat to Equatorial Guinea in their second group game in this tournament means that they are falling short of the Italian national team, the Azzurri's record of 37 matches unbeaten as a national side, because Algeria's record were altered at 35. So quite disappointing for Jamel Belmadi's men. And of course, this means that for us football-loving fans, we would be looking forward to a very, very tantalizing encounter between these teams in Group E, because any of them can still qualify actually. So even Ivory Coast, I'm talking about Cote d'Ivoire because that seems to be the official name, Cote d'Ivoire, the group toppers right now, could still miss out of qualification. So it's all setting itself up for a mouth-watering finale to the group. Both games would be played at the same time, and so there will be no room for any form of match fixing or anything else that could affect the integrity of the game. So for the AFCON 2021, it's been wonderful so far. Started with affairs that were really tight, 0-0 draws, 1-0 victory, the 95th, 97th minutes penalty, and all these things, but gradually it is kicking into life. Cameroonians doing so well for themselves, gaining maximum points from their first 2 games. I talk about Nigeria and Morocco as well, not lagging behind. And you should talk about Nigeria and give kudos to them, because including me, even if my opinion does not weigh so much when we're talking about this, but many people did not give them a chance. I didn't give them so much chance either. Going into the tournament, you want to talk about the fact that they sacked their coach a few weeks before the tournament started, and you look at the fact that stability is needed for any team that would go on to do well in major competitions like this. And you also look at the fact that some of their major strikers were not released. So for Nigeria, kudos to them. They kick-started the tournament with a very, very convincing victory. It was 1-0, but quite convincing against Mohamed Salah's Egypt. They managed to shut arguably the most informed player right now in the world. They managed to keep him short for the entire duration, and kudos to the team. I mentioned it the last time out when we were talking about favorites and discussing potential champions. When it comes to tournaments like this, the games are not so much. It's not a league match where you go 38 games. So building momentum early on could just be the difference maker, even if you're not the most potent team in terms of attack or defense. So kudos to Cameroon, kudos to Nigeria, kudos to Morocco, and every other team doing so well for themselves in the AFCON. Gradually, the boys are being separated from the men, and we are getting to that stage where it's just having nothing to lose. You just have to go all out. There's no room for trying to secure a point and all these things. It's a winner takes all stage we are getting to gradually. So let's proceed on a quick break now. When we come back, it's the month of January. Let's talk about transfers. Welcome back to Sport Vibes on DNTWOK. Thank you so much for your patience. And now let's talk about transfer stories. Obviously, we are still in the month of January, and several clubs across Europe looking to improve on what they have already. Clubs know that time is running out for them to achieve their goals. So you can see the likes of Newcastle United, a team that has been a regular mention. I've had a regular mention on the show because of the huge financial muscle they seem to have. So for Newcastle United, quite a number of signings already in the bag, but they are still looking to get some more in. And according to RMC Sports, they are considering launching a bid for Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper Keylor Navas. Keylor Navas is a Costa Rican 35-year-old goalkeeper, but you know, when it comes to goalkeeping positions, being 35-year-old does not necessarily mean a disadvantage, because we've seen goalkeepers play into their early 40s and even beyond. Talk about Buffon and quite a number of stars in the past. And now for Newcastle United, they seem to be looking at Keylor Navas. This is a guy with so much experience, has won the Champions League with Real Madrid. What else do you want for a club trying to survive relegation in the Premier League? So if they could get that on the line, you might want to say that would be a good move for them. But whatever you think about that, Newcastle are still interested in so many players according to the press. Quite a number of players are being linked with Newcastle United. And of course, let's talk about Juventus, because it's being reported by Calcio Mercato in Italy that Juventus are interested in signing Anthony Martial, the Manchester United forward, the French forward as well, who is looking to just try and force his way into the French national team. It's a World Cup year. Several number of these players are looking to get a club where they can play more consistently, and Martial is definitely one of them. Obviously, a guy with so much potential, but when you're at the age of 26 or thereabouts, it's no longer seen as potential because time is running out. You need to prove yourself on the big scene, and it's not happening at Manchester United for him right now. He's looking to secure a move away, and it remains to be seen whether Juventus, this is also a team with so much potential, so much pedigree, that is not doing so well right now. Remains to be seen whether both teams, talking about Martial and Juventus, will be a match made in heaven if the move eventually goes through. And another big transfer story is one linking another French star, Ousmane Dembele, with a move away from Barcelona. Quite a number of clubs, including Manchester United, are being linked to the French forward. Very, very huge guy. Talking about his talents, you still have the feeling that this guy has a a very great ceiling to reach, a very great height to reach. But when injuries come time and again in your career as player, many times they hinder the momentum. You can't gather enough reading to just go on and get yourself into that position you want to be. Talking about your fitness level, because it's a different thing to be fit, it's a different thing to be match sharp. And Dembele, many times you can see the flashes of brilliance. This is a man that can dominate and win games for you, can dribble, is fast, a lot of assists in his pockets and all these things. But obviously you want to look at Barcelona's financial situation and his contract. This is something that has dragged on for quite a while, and it seems they found a solution. But regardless of whatever that is, reports claim that Ousmane Dembele could be on his way out of Barcelona. We'll find out how true and how genuine that is in the next few weeks. And another transfer, which does not involve a player now, is about, this is quite disappointing for Rafael Benitez, because Everton coach, who is now the former Everton coach now, Rafael Benitez, has been shown the exit door at the Merseyside club. He was sacked after his side lost 2-1 to Norwich City, and that was just the 19th game of the season, the 19th league game for Everton. And when you talk about Benitez reflecting on his tenure at the Merseyside club, some people actually feel this is a man that was not really welcome in the first place. When you come into Everton as someone with affiliation to Liverpool, you have any relationship with Liverpool in time past, there seemed to be a bit of resistance from the fans, and it didn't take so much time. The stint was really short. He replaced Carlo Ancelotti, but things have not really kicked for him. So obviously for someone of Benitez's stature as a coach with his records, you don't expect him to be short of sweetos, especially at this point in the season. But you would want to say this was one that did not go so well for both parties, talking about Benitez and Everton. So Everton, as I said earlier, clubs are at that stage of the season where they are really desperate. They know that time is running out for them to achieve their goals, and so the hierarchy are making key decisions. So for Everton, time is running out if they want to be in Europe, if they want to finish in top 10, or just play safe and avoid relegation. So whichever that is, we keep our fingers crossed and expect the very best for our sports. That is how far we'll go on the show this week. Thank you so much for always tuning in. I do hope you enjoyed this ride by the Sport Pilots. My name is Bolaji Alimi. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that yet, and follow us across our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and of course, Telegram. Thank you so much. Bye for now.